Welcome back to Rockabyes. I want to say, when we ended episode 3, Britney had finally spoken in court in her own voice and the world began to shift. But that June 2021 testimony was at the finish line. It was the first crack in a 13-year wall. Wow. Mm-hmm. And then on November 12th, 2021, it happened. Judge Brenda Penny formally ended the conservatorship for the first time in more than a decade, and she was legally free.
Yes. And this raises a question people rarely ask: who is Britney outside of survival? If episodes 1 through 3 were about what was taken from her, episode 4 is about what never left. This is the exhale, the artistry, the reclamation, right? Mm-hmm. It's just Britney Spears, the legendary Miss Britney Spears.
Yes.
And her self-titled record, Britney, the one that gave us hits like Slave for You and Overprotected, that turns 25 this year, which is crazy.
It is crazy.
And it was the beginning of her sound shifting. She was working with the Neptunes. Slave for You was a total sonic shift for her. Yeah. And, it was a declaration, beginning of all of that. She wants to make statements in her music, and that was slowly her starting to do that.
Nice.
A moment when she stepped into more intentional, adult versions of herself. She knew her instincts, she knew her vision, and she knew what Britney meant.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yes.
We've talked about performing being her first language, and it was long before the contracts, the pressure, or control. She writes that being on stage made her feel grounded. This is where I felt like me, not because she craved attention, as we discussed earlier, but because she craved agency. Mm-hmm. She knew how the choreography should move, how the moment should read, how she should show up. Before we go further, what's your favorite Britney performance?
Well, I know what you're going to say, so I'm going to pick a different one.
Okay.
Because that one's like a lightning in the bottle moment. I would have to say it's the 2000 VMAs when she does I Can't Get No Satisfaction into Oops, I Did It Again. And she has a very Michael Jackson entry, with the hat and the suit that she has on. Mm-hmm. And then she rips it off and she's got this incredible sparkly bodysuit on.
Oh.
Like the nude one.
Yes.
And
that became famous.
Oh, she kills it. Wow. It's a great performance. You can't take your eyes off of her.
Right.
And it makes me think of this is her showing you I'm here to stay. Mm-hmm. And then I also love, and she mentions it in her book too. Mm-hmm. So before she goes on tour, she does a special called ABC in the Zone special, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
And it's filmed at Gotham Hall in New York. Uh-huh. It's beautiful. And she does a bunch of songs from that record.
Oh, I saw that.
She does a great performance of Toxic.
Yeah.
She does Breathe on Me. She does Slave for You.
Yeah.
She does Me Against the Music.
It's still online.
And it's just her confidence. Mm-hmm. You could just tell. I just thought she was
she was polished
and coolest. Yeah, but she was really coming into her own. Mm-hmm. And you could see that. And at the time, I was a 13, 14-year-old girl. That was a big deal to me.
Wow.
To watch someone like that just own her sexuality and her confidence. It was it's one of my favorites.
So Megan is right. Mine is the easy one, the 2001 VMAs. I'm a Slave for You. Not because of the snake itself, but because of what the memoir reveals. Britney says she only rehearsed with a small snake. The massive albino python, the one the world remembers, was handed to her moments before she went on stage, and she's like, wait, what? She writes that she was terrified and also electrified because pushing through the fear made her feel powerful. She wasn't performing confidence. She was stepping into it, and that wasn't a prop. It was a pivot, but
it was hissing at her.
And so Slave for You, who was that offered to first by Pharrell?
Miss Janet Jackson.
Miss Janet Jackson.
Miss Jackson, if you're nasty.
Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. I mean, I understand why Janet said no. I mean, it's kind of hard to be a black woman going, I'm a slave.
I don't like Janet.
No. But, and the Neptunes, they redid it and and then formed it around Britney.
Yep, exactly. Oh, she was unstoppable then. She was on fire.
Yes. And they gave her nice beats.
Oh, yeah. And that, in fact, she debuted that song at the VMAs. Oh, no one had heard it before. Wow. And that doesn't happen anymore. Yeah. And that clarity shows up again and again in the eras where she has a real input, what Mel was touching on. And those are eras that she describes as aligned, connected, and proud, and powerful and strong and confident.
Nice.
And when that input disappeared, the albums planned for her, visuals chosen without her, she felt the loss immediately. There's no connection to it like there was before.
Right.
Not because she lacked vision, but because autonomy was no longer part of her process.
Oh, and that's where she felt creative.
Of course.
So before we move on, we need to talk to Miss Megan about this little perfume line because Britney's fragrance empire was one of the most successful celebrity perfume brands in history, probably next to like Elizabeth Taylor. You said it's still selling.
I Googled it the other day to see if they still have them. I mean, they're out there still.
You have some.
I did. I don't have anything now. But when
Did they smell good?
I actually liked the smell of Curious.
Okay.
That was her first one. Mm-hmm. And the commercials for them were amazing.
Right. Which one caused the biggest stir?
I would probably have to say the first one because it was her first perfume. And to see her do that, like that one was fun. The second one, so I had Curious. I can smell it right now if I think about it.
Wow.
And then I had Fantasy, the first edition of it. There are a million now.
Wow.
It's important to note she had a big perfume fire. All right. So what hits different now? We're going to talk about Blackout for a little bit.
Okay.
So one part of the memoir that really lands is the way it reframes Blackout. Britney does talk about this during this time. And she doesn't always touch on her artistry in her book, but she does mention Blackout.
Yes.
And fans already know it's a critically adored album, but the memoir gives it more emotional weight. Even in the middle of chaos and surveillance, Britney delivers one of the most influential pop records of the 2000s. It's important to note that Britney, she's an executive producer on this record. She's heavily involved in it. She shaped a lot of what Blackout became. She worked with Danja, who is a prodigy of Timbaland, and Carrie Hilson, Pharrell, Bloodshine Avant. Cara DioGuardi helped co-write some of this stuff. So she influenced the sound far more than she was ever credited for. Blackout wasn't an accident. It was an instinct. It was raw, modern, and ahead of its time. She refers to it as a battle cry. Wow. And it's important to, I want to just say, Blackout's sound feels dark.
Yeah.
This is where she really, rips the veneer off. And I think it's brilliant that
What year did it come out in?
2007.
2007.
I will never forget.
So it's going to be 20 years next year.
Yes. October 2007.
Wow.
And I think it's brilliant that she leaned into the narrative that she's manufactured. She was so tuned into what people were saying about her back then. So yeah, it's full of icy EDM pop songs, but also feels so personal to her. Right. Rebellious. And she sought out to work with all of those collaborators.
Wow.
Along with the A&R at the label, Teresa LaBarbera Whites. She really credits her with and being kind to her during that time. Aww. So yeah, I was just going to say its influence on dance pop that came after it was huge. And
what, do you have any specifics of what it influenced?
I think it led to what, the dance pop wave of Lady Gaga and thereafter.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it was very much a huge
performative, Madonna, huh?
There's those albums that came out around the same time, like Britney's Blackout, Nelly Furtado's Loose, and Justin Timberlake's Future Sex Love Sounds. They're all kind of sister albums, and they share a producer.
Yes.
They had Danjas on all of them in some capacity.
Yeah, and Timbaland.
Well, not on Britney's, but yes, on the other two. So they're all part of this big, movement in music, that shift of sound that influenced a lot that came after. But Blackout is just, it's become more of a critical darling over time.
Yes.
And more impactful, I think.
Yes.
So I just wanted to note that.
Yes.
And fun little fact that there was a tour. But yes, it was called the M&M's Tour.
Okay.
And it stands for Mother plus Miss.
When you told me that at first, I thought M&M?
No.
And I was Mother plus Miss.
Yes, and that is so Britney. And it was just a series of 6 club shows, more on the West Coast, that only lasted about 15 minutes each, and they were just remixed versions to a handful of her songs.
She got to do what she wanted.
Well, and I just want to final touch on
go for it.
About that Blackout area. It's important to note that this is when with the media, she's not giving interviews. There's no promotion for this album.
Good.
None. She didn't want to play the game.
Right.
She's no.
Right.
She did one promo phone interview with Ryan Seacrest.
Okay.
And it starts off him asking about the music and she's answering the questions and whatever. And then it just segues into him asking about her kids and the court case and the custody battle and her being a mom. She's answering some of these things and then he just keeps going, not making it about the music.
Right.
And she just gets up and leaves. She just dips out of the room. Honestly, Ryan ruined it by asking all those questions.
Right.
So it's kind of an interesting thing. But I wanted to know, she didn't want to play the game with the press. She's no.
If she had
I'm going to promote my own way.
Been able to stick to her guns and be free.
I know. But anyways.
I tell you,
All right. So we're going to talk about the disconnect that happened after she was in the conservatorship with some of her music.
Right. She didn't say she didn't like the music during that time, but
what's interesting is in her book, she doesn't mention Circus, the album. She doesn't mention Femme Fatale, the album. And she doesn't mention Britney Jean, the album. She mentions the tours.
because she wasn't present in the process.
But I have to note it.
She says she felt detached.
Well, and I think she's generalizing, right? Because she's not actually talking about the music specifically, like, oh, on this album. Right. And I think because she kind of blankets that, and, you know, it's why songs like Every Time and Overprotected and Slave for You, Give Me More and Piece of Me hit so hard. You can feel her and the intention and control and the emotional spine to those. And
right. How many albums do you know she released during the conservatorship?
Okay, so Britney released Circus, Femme Fatale, Britney Jean, and Glory.
4 albums?
4 records, yes. I have to say about Femme Fatale, so she, like I said, she doesn't mention this, but, so this comes out in 2011.
Right.
And she works with Max Martin and Dr. Luke again, and it was very successful. I mean, it also kind of was the next wave of dance pop. She was at the front of that again.
Right.
And the music is good.
Okay.
But it's just a lighter, glitchier, beepier.
Right. Right.
And it is good. Debuted at number 1, and the single Hold It Against Me debuted at number 1. During that time, she also won the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award at the VMAs.
Okay.
Which is interesting to note that every time an artist wins that, they give a performance. She did not do that.
Oh.
Tells you what kind of condition she was in at the time.
Oh.
And I remember watching this era and thinking that something was wrong. Like, the music was great.
Right.
But she was sluggish on stage. Her eyes, you could tell. I knew something was wrong, but, like, I just didn't know what. I just didn't know what I didn't know, right? But, like, the music was good. So I was just confused by it because her voice and her mannerisms were different. And I have to say, the one that stood out to me a lot was watching her perform S&M Remix with Rihanna. It is painful. Because this version of Britney, I think 2004, version of Britney, performing with Rihanna. Are you kidding me? That would have been amazing. And instead, we have this person who is definitely being put on something.
Ooh.
And just is not herself, not by her choice. You know, it's not her fault.
No.
So, and it just was unsettling. And I remember thinking it
smushed out
at the time. I was like, something is wrong. Okay, so then I'm also going to mention she doesn't go into Britney Jean. This album comes out at the end of 2013, like same month that her Vegas residency is supposed to launch.
Right.
And that's important to note because I think they were trying to use it as a promotional thing.
Right.
To like to promote the thing.
Yeah.
Which is like, in theory, fine, but you could have just put out a single and rolled with that, but whatever. Okay, this is my opinion.
Okay. Yes.
But the only time she mentions this in the book is she does say she liked doing Work Bitch. Okay, fine. But that's all she says. And I found that so interesting since there's so much controversy around this record, she didn't address it. And I remember listening to that album when it came out and trying to tell myself that it was fine. Like, I remember. I was like, it's fine. It's good. And I was like, it's not good. But I didn't know what was wrong. Like, if you listen to it, you're like,
said, did you look at it and go, does this sound like her?
That's the problem. It didn't. I was like, this doesn't sound like her voice, but it engineered, right?
Maybe it was engineered.
No, it's not, because Britney likes to play with her vocal. It's part of like the fun. Like, that's why producers love to work with her. She's just willing to go there,
right,
and use her voice as a tool in that way,
right.
And I know what that sounds like with her real voice,
right.
That what I listened to on that record is not Britney Spears, in my opinion. I'm sorry, but it's not only a bad record, I think it's completely soulless. They're like soulless, like weird EDM songs. Like, I also believe she only sings like a third of it. Like, her vocal, I will say her vocal is on some stuff. You can tell when it's her.
Right.
And
do you think they did some blending?
I mean, Sia is a co-writer on Perfume, or she wrote Perfume. So there's Sia vocals, there's Maya Marie, but there's also there's other background singers that are credited on that, where it's like, okay, and will.i.am executive produced it. I don't know if they were like, here you go, put it together, and or she did the best she could.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But I learned a lot of this because at the time, I didn't know any of this. I just thought it was a bad record. I'm like, this doesn't sound like her.
Didn't sound authentic. It was.
I don't know what this is, but I don't like it. At the time when that album came out, I didn't know all this drama.
So they were saying, you know what, that don't even sound like her.
I just thought it was a really bad record, and her voice sounded off to me.
Right.
And I was like, this, I don't like this.
Yikes.
And I'm like, something is a lot right here, but okay. And there was really something going on in the background to making this. Like,
her team heard it because the next album they made sure to put her voice on it.
well, and if you listen to
It
some
turned
of
into a
it,
controversial thing.
the Britney runs,
Right.
I know what a Britney run sounds like.
Right.
Listen to the ones that are in some of those songs. Yeah, I wanted to just touch on that. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So I do like the little song Every Time.
yeah,
And it doesn't sound fragile.
I think it does.
It sounds honest. They say this is considered one of the last moments that she got to speak very plainly and sing plainly, about some of the things that were bothering her. You were talking about what was going on with Every Time.
She commiserated with a friend of hers that had been dating one of Justin's friends, and they broke up around the same time, Annette Artani, and they wrote Every Time together out of just being sad. Like it's out of sadness. I think there is a lot of fragility in it, actually. I find it like when she sings it, like you hear that sadness in her voice. And it's a beautiful song.
It is a beautiful song. So, you know what? I'll take that back. You're right. There is some fragility and vulnerability, I think.
Very.
Is a vulnerability, not fragility, I think, but more of a...
It is honest too, though. What you said, it is honest, but it's fragile.
Yeah.
And that's
Kinda
the
raw.
point. It's the point.
Yeah. Raw.
Like she's devastated, and she showcases that really well in that song, I think.
So one of the quiet but powerful moments in the memoir is how Britney talks about working with Elton John, Sir Elton John, and not as a savior, but not as a comeback architect, but just as a fellow artist, because she really admired him. And that distinction matters because Elton didn't frame her as a fragile or broken victim.
No.
He treated her as a peer, someone with taste, instincts, and a point of view. There was no controlling narrative, no pressure to prove she was okay, just mutual respect. So
Yeah.
Good on you, El.
Yeah, and I think that's really wonderful that he reached out to her and wanted to do something with her to give her confidence back. I really admire that.
That's cool.
And that's why that collaboration lands differently. It's about recognition, and when Britney is met as an equal and not managed or corrected or whatever, she shows up fully, and that reinforces something the memoir makes unmistakable, that Britney was never lost. She was blocked.
That's true.
And the artistry didn't disappear under the system, it survived it. And that's what this whole chapter feels like, reclamation. Britney isn't asking to be remembered as broken. She's asking to be remembered as brilliant, intuitive, instinctive, deeply human. Her story isn't just about what was taken, it's about what survived.
That is very true. So we're going to do Meg's deep dive here on another things. So, well, I'll let her start it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a story to tell, and that's a reference to one of these songs.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay, so we're going to dive into this era called Original Doll. And so I'm going to just set the scene for you here.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this is 2004. So a lot was going on.
Okay.
So she's married to Kevin.
Okay.
And this is at the end of 2004. So it's like around New Year's.
Okay.
And she shows up to Kiss FM in LA and plays a rough demo of the song Mona Lisa and announces that she's working on a new album called Original Doll that's already halfway done. She wanted to make a statement through her music.
Right.
And she was pissed and she wanted to go there. And so she goes rogue and does this. And
The label didn't know she was going to
the
do it.
label didn't know. And she says, some lines are like, now I'm taking over to release her from her spell. This is part of Mona Lisa. Like, she's like,
Unconscious.
oh yeah, like there's intention behind all of this
Yes.
to let you know where she's at. And like, Jive had no idea about this. She went around them, and I think that's probably why they shelved the record. And I think a panic move was to put out a greatest hits, like prior to this. So there clearly was something going on in the background, like push and pull. And then she does this, and she goes rogue. And
Dusting them off.
yeah, and she wanted to make a statement, and she was met with a lot of resistance. And eventually, Mona Lisa was released on the Chaotic EP in 2005,
Okay.
but with lyric changes. Some of it was too dark.
Who is Mona Lisa? Like, is it
Mona Lisa, she started doing that as like an alter ego.
alter ego? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of different songs from that era have kind of leaked over the years.
So that was like her Sasha Fierce.
Sure, yes. Mona Lisa is, yes. She just wanted to experiment with different sounds and themes. And a lot of that consists of criticisms of the music industry and Justin and, all of that. And she was just creatively inspired during this time and had a lot to say. And rebellion Rebellion is another song of that era that she put out on her website in 2006, like a snippet of it. It's not a full song. And it really shows what she was feeling. And some of the lyrics that we mentioned in here is like, be wary of others, the ones closest to you. Like, she is like directly speaking about
Her feelings.
It could be her family. It could be her team. It could be whoever.
Did she write the song?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And she wrote Mona Lisa because that was her little alter ego.
She was much more involved in the writing during this era.
Because, you know, it's so funny. This is a myth because I didn't know she wrote. I mean, I always thought all these were, you know, Max Martin or...
I mean, a lot of them she's not a writer on, but she brings different things to the creation process.
And for everybody, that's where the money is.
Oh, the publishing is where the money is.
That's where the money is.
Although her advances were wholly insane, so I'm sure she's doing fine.
I don't know. If you're not the publishing, you don't get none of the money. Yeah.
Okay, you want to get into the rapid fires? Let's do it.
Yes. So we're going to shake off that little heaviness and no overthinking, just first instincts. What's your favorite quote?
Oh, okay.
From memoir quote. Favorite memoir quote.
Let me get to these. Okay, so the quotes, there are a couple. The first one is sad to me. It's about the Justin one. And I have to bring it up. It's from that era. And it said, Justin flew out to Louisiana to visit me.
Good. I'm glad you bring this up.
He brought me a long letter written and framed. I still have it under my bed. At the end it said, and then she kind of trails off, it makes me want to cry to think about it. And then it says, I can't breathe without you. And another part to that is, I know the truth about our relationship was nothing like it was portrayed, but I still imagine that if I was suffering, I must have deserved it. It just, when she said she still had that under her bed, that made me tear up.
I'm glad she still got it. I mean, considering what she went through.
That, I know, but like that relationship really was meaningful to her. It just made me sad. It's like the human part of her that I connect to, where I'm like, we've all been there with like a big love.
Yes, especially your first.
Oh, and when it ends, it's devastating.
It is devastating.
I can't imagine trying to deal with that
in public.
Like, as like a really famous person. Wow. I can't imagine that.
The embarrassment and the humiliation and all your business out there. Okay.
And she goes, one time he came home late and told me he had been at a party. Justin Timberlake was there, and so was Lindsay Lohan. That, to me, is the most dense thing he could possibly say to her. You're bragging about seeing my ex-boyfriend? Like, and to her, that's when she knew, oh God, he is gone.
Yeah.
And like, and she goes, fame, that world isn't real, my friends. It's not real. And she showcased that so beautifully by even just giving that example of the story of what had happened to him. And then the last one from that era I picked was, I was a raw nerve. I thought that was really a great way to describe
when Justin broke up with her.
This was 07.
Okay.
I mean, that's a perfect way to describe. She was just a raw nerve.
Was she a raw nerve? Is this in reference to the marriage going?
All of it at the same time. All in the public. Like she was just.
This went during their quote unquote party era, so to speak. Yeah, poor thing.
And then the last fun one I'll just say is sass ass, because I think that's hilarious.
Yes, that is true.
There's a little southernism.
Sass. Yes. So mine is when she's talking about her beloved maternal grandmother who she adored, the Brit.
Yes.
The British Lil. And she's like, Lil didn't have money. She had money. Lil was rich.
Yes.
Okay. So your favorite Britney era?
Ooh. I'd have to say In the Zone.
In the Zone, yes.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Blackout.
But I love Blackout. Don't get me wrong. But like that era is met with a lot of mixed feelings because it was pretty dark at the time.
Yeah.
I think In the Zone is my favorite era.
I'm kind of surprised. I think my favorite era is when she's working with the Neptunes early on and she's starting to kind of come into her own.
Yeah.
When she's starting to act more like an adult because she is more of an adult.
Yeah,
she's a young adult.
Yep.
You know, I think that's the best time for her. And she was sexy, sexy pop during that time.
Yeah.
Because she had confidence.
Yes.
And attitude. Most underrated Britney song.
I'm going to go with Unusual You off of Circus. I really like it. It's kind of a deep cut, but I just really like that song. And it's always stayed. It was my ringtone in college.
Was it? Is it fast paced or slow?
No, it has a little bit of a beat to it, but it is a ballad technically. It's just, I really like it.
So as you can see, Megan is the Britney, she is the expert and I am not. I love
her.
I guess we were talking about the whole every time and why, and it was, we were talking about it was centered upon Crimea River narrative, the emotions behind all that, and that's why it hits differently, that song.
Yeah.
Your favorite album? Oof. You already know what mine is going to be because I didn't listen to the whole album with I'm a Slave for You, by the way, but I do like.
What? The whole record's so good.
I listened to some of it. Some of it was good. Some of it was good. They were playing
if you love pure capital P pop, that is a great record.
and they played a lot of it on the radio.
There's a lot of singles off of that record.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I love In the Zone. But that's like...
You're torn between that and Blackout.
I love In the Zone and Blackout, but if I had to pick, if I were to pick three, it would be In the Zone, Blackout, and then I do love Circus. I know it's kind of a weird time. It was early, but...
So your deep cut vocal moment. I'll let you answer this because I've already said the same thing over and over again.
I mean, I actually really recently, because I do love the Oops album too.
Yeah.
Because I just have like happy childhood memories from that.
Yeah.
But I love Don't Let Me Be the Last to Know.
Right.
Like I think her vocal on that is so pretty. And it was written by Shania Twain, which is so random.
Oh, that's cool. Is it a new song or did Shania had sang it before and then she did a remix?
I don't know if Shania ever sang it. Maybe the demo. I don't know. It was on Britney's Oops album, and I always liked that song. But and of course, every time I love her vocal on that. So that's just coming to mind.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
The biggest takeaway from Woman in Me.
That this was a book for the general public more than like the diehard fan. This is about Britney getting her own narrative out about what happened to her.
Right.
And less about like, would I have liked more about the artistry and talking about like her creative process for some of these records? Absolutely.
Right.
But that's not the purpose of this book.
Right.
And I think when you look at it through that lens, like it helps.
I think the biggest takeaway from me, because, I'm not a total Britney fan like yourself. I mean, I had no problems with Britney. I didn't judge her at all. I felt for her, especially with the conservatorship and all of that came out. But the book just proves that she wasn't unstable. She was overwhelmed most of the time, and she had no childhood probably. She worked, which she wanted to work. It's not like she complained about it, but and that, the people that were closest to her didn't protect her. They felt like punishment from what I read on those restrictions and stuff. Especially losing her children as a leverage. That to me is punishing. And that, out of all that, she survived 13 years of a conservatorship. That shows strength right there.
It sure does. And she doesn't get enough credit for that resilience, I don't think. So.
Right. Bless her.
Yeah.
So, now that the rapid fire is done, we're going to test Megan's, test her like questions and no pressure. We're not going to, I should do it fast and see if you can do it. But no lifelines. Her stand card, her Britney stand card is officially on the line. So let's start with a memoir deep cut. Britney writes about one specific thing Justin used to wear that she absolutely loved. According to The Woman in Me, what was it?
His glasses.
His glasses. Yes, she said, I love the way he looked in his glasses. I didn't like those glasses, those little teensy glasses.
I can close my eyes and see that.
I can see them too. Isn't that what the jean, is it with the jean outfit?
No. He had like sunglasses on.
I liked it when they wore the little jean.
You know what? She still likes that when she sees people parody it for Christmas, for
Halloween. for Christmas. For Halloween.
It's going to be my next Christmas.
I know. That would be, I'm surprised you and Christian never did that.
Don't say it won't happen. Because if I had my way,
make him wear a blonde wig.
I would do it.
Yeah, and that means I think that shows how much she was in love with him.
Oh yeah,
So who was Toxic pitched to before Britney?
That would be Kylie Minogue.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Kylie Minogue, she said no. I mean, we might have to one day do a show of how many times somebody turned down something. You hear about it in movies.
Oh, yeah.
How many times somebody turns down something and
someone else is, it's like, I know, it's always like,
you're like, dang it, I should have done it.
But you know what? It always goes to the right person. The song fits the artist it goes to.
Maybe so, but I think she would have done great in Chicago.
Yeah, but that's not a song.
Right.
If we're talking strictly songs,
yeah.
She was, I think, pitched on Umbrella first before Rihanna.
Rihanna,
But
wow.
that's a Rihanna song. And Telephone with Beyonce and Gaga.
Right.
That was Britney's
That was
first.
Britney's first, and she said no.
Well, so I learned through It's Britney Bitch pod.
But she could have done it with Lady Gaga.
She wanted to put it out, when she put out 3 with Max Martin in 09,
Right.
what we were talking about. The reason she released that single is there was a singles package that went out, like a greatest hits singles package for a decade of her career.
Right.
And 3 was the promo single. I think Telephone was recorded. There's a demo of it that Britney did.
Okay, here's an iconic audiobook moment.
This is your favorite.
In one of the most viral lines from the Woman in Me audiobook, and by the way, and when I say viral, it went viral. Michelle Williams, who was the narrator and who did a lovely job, imitates Justin Timberlake greeting and Timberlake. I called him Timberlake. Timberlake greeting an R&B legend by saying, "Faux shiz, what's up, blank?" Who was he talking to?
He was talking about Genuine.
Genuine. Oh God. Oh God. And I love it that Miss Fee mimicked him and he got mad.
She just made fun of it. It was so funny.
I love it that she kept that in.
Me too.
The fact that she could remember that, but how can you not forget that?
Oh, I would never forget it.
That is amazing. The final question, and this one separates the casual listeners from the lifelong disciples, and I love this question. I love the answer too. What snack is so associated with Britney that fans like you treat it like her unofficial mascot?
It's hot Cheetos. It's Cheetos and Red Bull, really, is the correct answer.
That is crazy. Hot Cheetos and Red Bull.
It was during 2004. It was during that time. There are so many photos of it. I can't unsee it.
So, just to say this, Megan is a champion Britney fan.
I don't know about that, but
So now that she got that with honors, we're going to shift gears and give The Woman in Me our Rockabyes book rating.
yes.
About honesty, insight, voice, and what stayed with us. So I'm going to tell you what each rating is. So 1 star means, well, it was off-key, shallow, or clunky, little insight into the person. 2 stars means it needs tuning, some interesting moments, but not very revealing or well-shaped. 3 stars mean in tune, a solid memoir, clear writing, good insight, and a sense of who they are. 4 stars means it hits the right notes. It's well written, engaging, and insightful. You understand the person more deeply. And 5 stars means it's a chart topper. It's a rich, revealing, and beautifully crafted memoir, and it makes you feel closer to the person and see their life in a new way. So I'm going to start with you, Max.
Okay.
Whether this book actually lets you understand the person behind the icon. I guess if I start with myself.
Okay.
It
What
really
would you
worked
give
for
it?
me. Well, it worked for me with clarity. I won't give you the rating. We'll do it a bit, but the book isn't flowery. That's the one thing I did enjoy about it. It's not overwritten. It hits the right moment on that. And it's precise about how she felt. And that it is very informative about that conservatorship.
Yeah.
Especially around the control and motherhood and what was really going on in the marriage.
Yeah. It helped to hear her side of that.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Like the emotional honesty is the strength of this book. And
Yes.
It's not to be like dramatic, but and to over explain or anything. She's just saying things plainly because of everything we know now. That restraint actually makes the moment hit a little harder.
That's
like
true.
it's
Poor thing.
like she's like, no, this is what it was. This is what it, like she just keeps it pretty clean cut. But like I just think that helps so much because like there's so much speculation for so long without ever hearing her speak on it, and to finally hear it in plain sight, like hear it. This is what it was.
Right.
Like it's like, okay, this is her saying this.
Right.
Now we know.
Right. Yeah. About everything, that head shaving and that little party era.
Yeah. All of it.
Do you think it was comprehensive? No, because of the music. Why?
I wanted more.
Yeah.
But again, and that plays into my reading, I think that's not the purpose of this particular book.
Right. So if you're looking for an album by album
If you want like an artistry thing on her, this is not, you're probably not going to get that out of this
no
book.
studio stories.
And she gives you little snippets here and there, but that's it's just not the focus of this book. She's writing a survival memoir.
Right.
So that's the point of this book. That's the intention.
Right.
So
Right.
anyways.
So my rating, I guess, would be, I'll give it 3 out of 5 because I think it was solid. I think it was good insights and a sense of who they are.
I would say I'd give it 4 where it hits the right notes.
Yeah.
The only reason I took off a star is because I'm not getting that artistry that I wanted.
Yes.
But I do agree that it's engaging and well written and insightful, and you get to understand her more deeply. So
You do hear her story, especially in the conservatorship, more deeply. I do think she lets a lot of people off.
yeah.
And I don't know.
She speaks kindly of them, but maybe they don't deserve it.
Well, yes, but maybe there were some legalities, you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. And that's why part of me wish she had waited until all that sorted itself out so
Right.
she could speak more freely on that. But at the same time, I get it.
So, anyway, at least the book gives you a better understanding. You walk away having a good understanding of who she was from her angle
Yes.
and out of her voice
Yep.
and not, the public's voice, the narration coming from over here, this
Yes.
paparazzi person.
That was the point of this.
Yes.
So that's what I'm taking away.
Anyway. So the next segment, I think it bears to be talked about is Britney today.
Yeah.
And if she's okay.
Yeah. And we want to be careful about that. Like, we're not diagnosing her. We don't know anything. Like, we're not claiming that we know anything. And we're just talking about what's visible. And, when people ask, is she okay? Like, the question kind of folds into 2 extremes, like blind reassurance or harsh judgment. And neither is really honest. So, yeah, recovery from long control is really messy, but messy doesn't mean unwell. But after 13 years of having every choice monitored, it shouldn't shock anyone that freedom looks uneven, especially to people used to her compliance. Like, she's been complicit for so long.
Yeah.
Like, her showing the opposite end of that is alarming to some people. Yeah. Social media complicates things too. Dancing and showing skin and being playful, none of that is inherently alarming, but visibility isn't the same as wellness. What is documented is Britney was heavily medicated against her will, like we said, and forced medication is trauma. And trauma changes how a person navigates control and trust and coping. Motherhood gets distorted in this conversation as well. Britney writes that her children were her life, and losing access to them was devastating. That grief matters when we talk about her today.
Yes. So is Britney okay? We don't know. But, freedom doesn't magically equal healing. Autonomy is essential for her, as it should be, but it's not the same as support. Maybe the better question is she finally allowed to struggle without being punished for it? I just think that, I guess, when I think of her, I'm torn. I'm a little torn, as I should be, because I understand now why she wouldn't trust a therapist, because all of that represented horribleness during conservatorship. It just, sometimes it feels like, that she's breaking down sometimes before our eyes. The trauma is so glaring.
And healing isn't linear. And Britney has anger and compassion, like they coexist at the same time. And there's sadness here, but also survival.
Yes.
She lived through this. We need to own that. Like, we would acknowledge it. Like, she survived this. Not a lot of people could do that.
Right.
And the least we can do is give her grace without conditions.
That's very true. Did she say it in her memoir? I thought you said that she said that she thought that they wanted her to die.
Yeah, in that facility, she thought they were trying to kill her.
Yeah. Not the facility,
Her family.
but
And her powers that be.
They wanted to break her. Yeah, they wanted to break her. So we want to talk about lessons from Britney's memoir,
Okay, yeah.
Some of the things that, we learned from it. And you go first, baby.
Okay. Lesson number 1. The perfect pop star is a trap, not a goal. If there's one myth Britney's story absolutely shatters, it's the idea that the perfect pop star. Perfection didn't protect her. It made her easy to control. She wasn't punished for mistakes. She was punished for being human, for aging, grieving, wanting autonomy, wanting rest. Britney writes, I was expected to be perfect, and when I wasn't, it felt like everything collapsed. That's the trap. Perfection isn't a goal in fame, it's a cage. And she learned very early that being good meant being compliant. And until compliance became the only version of her world.
The world accepted.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think that the perfect pop star is going to come up again when we talk about Whitney Houston, when we talk about Mariah Carey.
Sure, yeah. That applies to a lot.
Yeah, I think we can talk about how the different people around you, even the record company, they go into a room, it's all marketing, and they create, the narrative. So lesson number 2, real power comes from owning yourself, and Madonna showed her that. One of the most surprising parts of the memoir is how Britney describes Madonna, not as a scandal, not not as a shock value, but as mentorship. Madonna was the first powerful woman in the industry who looked at Britney and said, take up space, stop shrinking, own it. Britney writes that Madonna taught her the difference between playing at being sexy and owning your power. And that reframes the now famous 2003 VMA performance, which we didn't talk about.
Oh, good.
Yeah, people remember the kiss, but Britney remembers the direction of it. Madonna didn't scandalize her. She emboldened her. And they did a music video together.
Me against the music.
Yep.
Okay, lesson 3. Visibility is not the same as power. Here's the illusion fame sells. If everyone sees you, you must be powerful. Britney's life proves the opposite. She was one of the most photographed women on the planet, and she still had almost no control over her decisions, her schedule, her career, her body. She was everywhere and heavily controlled.
Yeah.
So she writes, people saw me all the time, but no one was really listening.
That's true.
And that line, after you read everything that's happened is really something to just sit with. Visibility gave her exposure, not protection. Attention didn't equal safety. And fame didn't equal agency. And that gap between what the world saw and what she was living is where so much of the harm happened.
So we talked about that, definitely. So number 4 is family patterns repeat when they're not healed. That is true. One of the most powerful undercurrents in Britney's memoir is how clearly family history repeats itself when a family doesn't heal its wounds. Britney writes about her paternal grandmother, Jean, who we know suffered profoundly, committed against her will, medicated without real care, and dismissed instead of treated. Miss Jean died by suicide at the grave of her infant son, and Britney never met her, but Jamie did, and he grew up watching how silence, stigma, and control can break a woman already in pain.
Yeah. And then I'll just say at
rest
the very
in peace,
end,
Miss Jean.
All right, no, God, terrible. This is the lesson that matters most when we talk about Britney today, because healing after control doesn't look polished. It doesn't look calm, and it doesn't exist to make the public comfortable. Britney is very clear. Getting out didn't magically fix everything. It just gave her the right to choose again. Yeah. It's important to note that. I thought that was
so. We're coming to the end, which is, we really appreciate you guys. Really.
Yes.
But I do want to see the comments. I do. I want to see what you guys think, and DM us. Let us know what your favorite Britney song, quote, or a moment that the memoir changed your view about her, and what you thought about the memoir.
Yeah.
Her story isn't about downfall. It's about what happens when somebody's voice is taken from them and what it costs to get it back.
Yep.
If her freedom makes people uncomfortable, maybe that's the clearest sign that it finally belongs to her.
That's right. Well said.
And
this is Rockabyes, where every legend hides a secret and every triumph comes with a cost.
Because the glamour is never the whole truth.
And behind every hit,
there's a lullaby and a reckoning.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks, Megan.
Thanks, Mel.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to listen to the songs that were mentioned in the series, you can go to a curated playlist of the artist and Spotify under Rockabyes playlist. Please subscribe now. One additional note, the information in the episodes are based on my best research. I'm your host, Melissa. Always remember, you're a shining star no matter who you are.